from a station working for you. This is breaking news from WRTV.
Best news in reference to 8951 Maribel Road. Be advised, another caller heard 10 shots from near the front of the entrance. Caller says possibly from inside. No further seen or heard. Less than 1 minute ago.
We continue to follow a horrific scene on the city's southwest side. 8 people killed by an active shooting at a FedEx ground facility near the airport. Thank you for joining us. I'm Megan Shin on this tough and tragic morning. We'll check in for your weather and traffic update with Todd Clausen in just a few minutes. But first, we need to check in with our Rafael Sanchez to get us up to speed on the still developing mass shooting in the city's southwest side. Raf.
Megan, people running for cover, people running for their lives. Chaos and fear overtook this scene, and when the gunfire was over, 8 people were found dead. I can tell you right now that police remain on the scene investigating this situation here at the FedEx ground building here on the city's southwest side. Let me show you exactly where we are reporting this morning. This situation continues to unfold as we continue to follow this breaking news story right here on WRTV. We are on the 8,000 block of Maribel Road. We're just about 3 miles away from Indianapolis International Airport. From here to the airport is just an 8-minute drive. But from this location where this is now unfolding, of course, people began calling 911 for help. Shortly after 11 p.m., police receiving calls from not only inside the building but outside, also receiving calls from the interstate system, people reporting that there was a situation unfolding inside of this building. We can also tell you from what sources are telling me that people inside the building were just hiding. They were in any place that they could, underneath the conveyor belts, in any corner of the building that they could, as they heard those gunshots erupt inside of that building. In the end, police are telling WRTV investigates that the suspect died by suicide. They are describing what they say a weapon was found by the man's body. That weapon is being described to WRTV investigates as a long gun. We'll continue to follow those developments throughout the morning as this story continues to unfold. Our focus is not only on the investigation. That's just part of the story. Our bigger focus is on the people, the families. And with that part of our coverage, now let's turn to WRTV's Troy Washington. Troy, what can you tell us?
Well, for those that are just joining us, we're here at the Holiday Inn Express on Stansted, and if you do have a loved one who works at that FedEx facility and you haven't heard from them, they want you to come here. They're actually answering a lot of the questions here, and maybe they can kind of guide you in the right direction. Now, for hours, a lot of the family members were here. They were waiting for answers just to find out what was going on with their loved ones, or even to learn if they were okay. So a lot of them showed up here at that Holiday Inn Express. It's near the airport on Stansted. If you're still looking for your loved one, they want you to come here. Maybe they can help lead you in the right direction or give you some answers. Now, as soon as I showed up around 1 a.m., I talked with the grandmother. She was in her car, and she was clearly worried as she started to tell me that she, on the way here, prayed the entire drive. Here's what she had to say.
I was listening to on the radio on her phone. I was putting on my clothes as soon as I heard it, and she was coming down the stairs. We got to go, we got to go, we got to go, we got to go. I didn't ask her why. I just got my stuff and got in, and she told me. I said, oh, my God. So we're here to see. I hope, God, that he's not injured, and I hope a whole lot of other people are not injured either, but we don't know.
Now, a lot of these relatives, they have been waiting here for hours, and a lot of that started around midnight. A lot of people coming in here to the hotel, pacing, praying, worrying, wondering, just wanting some answers to their questions. And as we continue to learn more about these victims, I'm sure that we'll continue to learn more about some of the people who have not even been accounted for. Like I said, there's an investigation going on, and some of those employees were still being questioned. But here at the hotel, they've been fielding a lot of calls from people who are calling here and inquiring about where they should go and how they should get any answers to their questions. So again, I just want people to know, if you are searching for your loved one, they want you to come here to Stansted near the airport, the Holiday Inn Express. Back to you, Rafael.
A What heartbreak, what worry for so many families. And of course, Troy, we will keep on top of this developing situation with the families. Troy, thank you so much for that. The big question this morning is, who is the guy behind this mass shooting? And I have to tell you, working our sources, we don't have a name just yet. But you can imagine that in the next several hours or so, police will release that information. This remains an active investigation. And Kelsey, we've been watching social media. We've been watching our Twitter feeds and Facebook. That's the biggest question. Who is responsible? We just don't know a name just yet.
That's right, Raphael. We've put out several tweets this morning giving people updates. And the number one response we're getting is, who is it? And again, that's just something we don't know right now. The only thing we do know is that the gunman is a male. That's all we know. So we're expecting to hear more later from IMPD. We've had 2 press conferences so far. The first one at 1 a.m. and that was just 2 hours after the first 911 call. That's when Officer Janae Cook told us very little information. She just said that there was an active scene and that the alleged gunman had killed himself. So that's all we knew at 1 o'clock. Then at 3 o'clock, we heard more from Janae Cook, and she tells us that there were 8 victims here pronounced dead at the scene with gunshot wounds. Several people transported to the hospital, others treated here at the scene by emergency services. And then they're also getting reports of walk-ins at different hospitals in 3 different counties, because we're in a very unique spot where we're very close to several different counties. So they're trying to, account for everybody, get their statements and see, what they saw, what they heard, and what they know. But she says right now it's time for the community to support everyone involved.
You got to look for a way to support each other, whether it's your neighbor, the guy down the street, your family member. That's where you have to start at, and you just keep supporting each other, and it'll always get better.
So again, if you work here at this FedEx facility and are expecting to go to work tomorrow, Officer Cook suggests you call your supervisor first. She says the building will be closed for quite some time as the investigation continues. She also told us during that press conference to be thinking about these officers that went in that building as well. Those people inside and the officers saw things that she says no one should ever have to see. So again, keeping all of them in our thoughts this morning and again, supporting them. We also, again, we don't know who that suspect is. We don't know that information, but we are expecting a press conference later this morning. We don't know a time yet, but we will bring that update to you right here on WRTV and of course on our social medias and online. But for now, we'll bring it back to Raphael out here outside the FedEx facility.
Kelsey, we are committed to bringing people the best information, the facts. This is a lot of information coming at us, overwhelming this morning, but we will not get ahead of the story. As we get the facts, we will share them with you. And of course, our thoughts this morning, Megan, are with the families. What do you say to those 8 families? What can be said? Their family members, they came to work last night. They were expecting to see them at some point this morning. And of course, they will not be coming home. And it's with the families that we stand this morning. And as soon as we get more information, of course, we will pass that along. Again, 8 people dead here on the city's southwest side. This could turn out to be the biggest mass shooting in Indianapolis history. The last one was back in 2006. And Megan, I covered that one as well. That was the Hamilton Avenue murders. That involved 7 people, including 3 children. And I can still remember that day as it was yesterday. On that day, it was raining. And I can always remember the body bags that came out. And I only point that out because this is traumatic. And the trauma is real for those people that work in this building, that come to work every day, put in their heart and soul with their employer, and then they want to get back home. And so what we will see over the next couple of days will be the need for mental health help for these workers who will see images, as the Metro Police described. The scene inside that building is something that no one should see. So those are the kinds of things we'll be talking about, and we'll provide resources throughout the day here at WRTV and WRTV.com, resources that you may want to share with your friends and family, that they may want to consider as they try to sort of process this moment, because this moment, as we are focused not only on those 8 families, and their mourning and just their loss, but we're also focused on the many people. I'm told that at one point there may have been 100 people that had to be evacuated from that building. One can't even begin to imagine what they saw and what they processed. We'll continue to follow this developing story throughout the day right here on WRTV. Rafael Sanchez, now back to you in Studio A.
And Rafael, just a quick question for you. It shakes your sense of safety to the core. So how is the feeling out there? You're one of the first few people out there on the scene.
Well, I think, all of us go to work every morning. We go to work. We hope to clock in at some point. We hope to clock out. And if there's a little bit of overtime, we'll take a little overtime. But we want to be back with our families. We want to have lunch or dinner, whatever that may be for you, right? Whatever your truth may be. And I think that is shaken today when you think about the fact that this building here, with a lot of surveillance cameras, security, how could this happen, right? And so that'll be the big question that investigators will be looking at over the next couple of hours. Now back to you.
Thank you so much, Ralph, and stay safe out there. And FedEx has issued a statement on the situation saying in part, quote, "Safety is our top priority and our thoughts are with all of those who are affected. We are working to gather more information and are cooperating with investigating authorities." Indiana Congressman Andre Carson also releasing a statement overnight saying in part, "I am heartbroken by the mass shooting here in Indianapolis and praying for all affected by this tragedy." Congressman Carson went on to say he's working with local authorities to learn more and is standing by to help anyone affected. More on this tragic situation after this break.
And I wasn't in the facility where it happened, but being within the FedEx, area or in the vicinity, it was very just nerve-wracking. Were they going to come to our job or what was going to go on? It's a lot to process.
We continue to follow breaking news from the southwest side of Indianapolis. A mass shooting here outside of the FedEx ground building on the 8000 block of Mirabel Road on the southwest side of Indianapolis. The gunman, we're told, died by suicide. And just moments ago, Metro Police releasing some new information, again confirming that 8 people were killed in this mass shooting, and now confirming that 5 people were injured by gunshots. They were injured by gunshots, 2 taken to local hospitals to be treated for serious injuries. We should also point out that this shooting began sometime after 11 o'clock last night here on the city's southwest side. Again, 8 people dead, 5 people injured, and the gunman died by suicide. We'll continue to follow this developing story, breaking news right here from the southwest side throughout the morning. Megan, now back to you.
We know it's an ongoing investigation. Police ask for your patience as they continue to investigate and to call if you have any tips. That number is 317-262-TIPS. And thanks, Raphael, once again. It has been a deadly year so far in Indianapolis. So let's take a look back. In January, a teenage suspect shot and killed 4 members of his family, his brother's girlfriend, and her unborn child also included. Raymond Ronald Lee Childs III faces 6 counts of murder. And a 15-year-old survivor says Childs got into an argument with his father because he left home without permission and would be in trouble later on. And working for you, after multiple mass shootings this year, we looked into how our local police department is training to respond to something like this in our community. And this is a story we told you just last month. For the last several years, all IMPD recruits have been receiving extensive training in active killer situations. And districts also have ongoing trainings. Officers are constantly implementing actual scenarios that have happened around the country, so they're prepared for naturally anything. And they use role players to come in and create chaos, firing simunition rounds at officers. Those are similar to paintballs.
Use one active killer, maybe 2, it may be multiple, and then to train our officers that there is a way to tactically go about doing this. It's not a free-for-all.
There's no national standard at this time for how police departments respond to active shooters. IMPD says their officers are trained to go directly after the threat. And that could mean moving past critically injured victims, at least at first. And if you are ever in an active shooter situation, IMPD recommends the following. The best thing you can do is run and keep running until you're out of harm's way. Then call 911. The more people that call, the better. And if you can't run, hide. Hide inside a room and barricade the door. If you're outside, get behind something that will stop bullets, such as a large car or large tree, and prepare to fight. IMPD suggests grabbing a chair, looking for a fire extinguisher or something to strike the shooter if they attack. And many schools and other organizations use a safety training system called ALICE. It's an acronym for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, Evacuate. Alert is when you first become aware of a threat. The sooner you understand that you're in danger, the sooner you can save yourself. If evacuating is not a safe option, the next step is locking down by barricading your room. Inform means continuing to communicate as much as possible in real time. That includes things like sharing video surveillance, including 911, and making PA announcements. Encountering should be last resort and is taught as creating distractions to decrease the shooter's accuracy. And finally, evacuate. Remove yourself from the danger zone when it's safe to do so. And you can find more on the ALICE active shooter training by visiting alicetraining.com. And we'll continue to check in with our crews for an update on the very latest here. Stick with us throughout the morning and find the very latest information on this breaking news situation at WRTV.com. And on this Friday, time now is 6:18. Todd, let's get a check of the forecast.
All right, the forecast is in pretty good shape here this morning. It's chilly. There's no doubt about that. You'll need the jacket as you walk out the door, as once again, temperatures are in the 30s. We have one more day tomorrow to start off with temperatures in the 30s. Then we'll be a little bit better as far as low temperatures go. It's fairly dry in this forecast until next week, even though there is the chance of just a few very, very spotty showers in this forecast as we work our way into the weekend. More on that in just a second. But here is the clear skies. You can notice as you look to the north, sky's just starting to brighten a little bit, and we'll have a beautiful sunrise with just a few fair high weather clouds to the north and then off to the east. But most of central Indiana this morning is nice and clear, and the morning hours today are going to be the brightest part of the day. As we get into the afternoon hours, the clouds are going to start to increase from west to east out ahead of this next storm system that's already spreading some rain into southern Missouri. Now, the bulk of that rainfall, that is going to pass down to our south. We're just going to get a little bit of a glancing blow from that tomorrow morning with the opportunity for a few very, very light showers. But on TrueCast today, as we walk you through the day hour by hour, you notice partly cloudy skies this morning. There's just a little more in the way of cloud cover building in this afternoon and into the evening hours, but the rain holds off. So it's Friday. You might have plans to be out and about this evening, maybe dinner, and you'll be just fine. Don't have to worry about any precipitation heading our way. Now this morning, here are those temperatures. Look at Greenfield, now down below freezing at 31 degrees, 37 in Indy, 33 in Peru. Richmond currently at 34 degrees, and from Bloomington to Bedford, we're down into the mid-30s. The jacket's needed, but today, unlike yesterday, we have the clear skies this morning, and look how the temperatures really start to moderate very quickly throughout the morning hours. In fact, by late morning, we're into the low 50s and the mid 50s by the time we get to the noon hour. And then high temperatures today are going to top off generally in northern locations right around 60 degrees. Frankfurt at 59, 63 in Lafayette, 60, 61 in Indianapolis, Martinsville right around 63 degrees, and then 62 to 63 in a lot of our southern locations as well. And that's just a degree or two below normal for this time of year. So really it's a nice Friday despite us losing a little bit of sunshine as the day goes on. This evening we're in the 50s, and then for the day tomorrow, you wake to temperatures very similar to this morning in the low to mid 30s across the area with partly to mostly cloudy skies. And then throughout the day tomorrow, more clouds in the morning than sunshine, although the clouds should start to break apart a little bit as we work our way into the afternoon and evening hours tomorrow. But as far as the rain goes, there will be the opportunity for just a few spotty showers sneaking in here before sunrise tomorrow. They're all very light. If you see them, they're not going to last very long, and it's mainly just from Terre Haute to Greensburg and points down to the south as the bulk of that storm system stays across parts of Kentucky as well as Tennessee. But it will usher in some cooler temperatures. We'll continue to average below normal as we push throughout the remainder of the week. And take a look at your 7-day planning forecast, and you can see that as we work our way into the middle of next week, high temperatures may struggle to get into the low 50s on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then behind that system, low temperatures back into the 30s for Wednesday and Thursday morning. So enjoy a little bit of a warm up on Monday. It's by far the best day in this planning forecast. 6:22 is the time. We're back in just a couple minutes on Good Morning Indiana. Stay with us, and we'll see you then.
Welcome back. We know that chaplains play a big role when it comes to responding to such tragedies as the mass shooting here in Indianapolis. We know that there are several of them now working with the families and helping them as they go through this process that we're all dealing with in our community. So I want to bring in on the phone with us this morning is Chaplain Bob Osler. And Bob, we met actually at the Virginia Beach mass shooting at the Municipal Center number 2. So it's similar where, you know, this is a workplace shooting, this one taking place at a FedEx here in Indianapolis. So I have a couple questions as far as advice for the community, because there's going to be a lot of healing that's needed. So talk about responding to these scenes as a chaplain, because you've been to numerous scenes from Pittsburgh to Virginia Beach to Dallas.
Well, yes, responding to a scene like this as a chaplain, you have to go there very prayerfully and with an open heart. When you get to these situations, you want to be there to just listen to people because they're very in fear. They're just frozen with anxiety. Things like that happen with these folks. And when I usually talk to a community, I try to get them to go to any of the things where people get together and decompress with counselors, with crowds, candlelight vigils, that kind of thing, where they can go to the site, put down a special balloon, or some people put crosses, some people will put special flowers and things like that to kind of try to bring some kind of comfort from this.
And really, my other question is, how does this impact a community? You know, coming back to a workplace shooting, that's where you should feel safe. So, you know, what do you see?
Oh, that's correct. It's pretty hard for people to come back from them because you want there to be a sense of safety in your community. And when you have this happen, it brings quite a shock. It's horrifying for most people. Anybody from the person who's at the scene where it happens to the person who's listening to the news on TV, the senior citizen who's at home and has fear. You just have to work with these folks, decompress, take time to let them know that you're there for them. They're going to need some good time with somebody, counseling, whether it's prayer, whether it's just someone being there to listen. I don't normally give advice at a scene. I just listen because there's not a whole lot you can say to a victim or a victim's family who's been involved in there, and nothing you're really going to say is going to bring comfort. You just have to kind of be there to hold them and listen to them.
Thank you so much, Chaplain Bob Osler. Once again, we appreciate your time as our community tries to heal from this mass shooting. And on this Friday, we'll continue to follow this developing situation. Stick with us online at WRTV.com for more information. And it is 6:27. Let's get a check of the weather now with Todd Clausen.
All right, and the weather department's all quiet this morning. That's the good news on this Friday as the sun comes up on the Circle City and all of central Indiana this morning. A beautiful sunrise in progress as you look from IMS back off towards the east. With that said, it is chilly out there this morning as we are looking at temperatures right now that are sitting in the 30s and 40s. Crawfordsville 32 degrees. It's 40 in Bloomington. 37 is the current temperature in Indianapolis. Now the good news is plenty of sunshine this morning. It's the brightest part of the day with the sunshine. Temperatures will moderate very quickly this morning through the 30s, through the 40s, and eventually into the 50s by the noon hour. Once we transition into the afternoon hours, though, you'll notice a little more in the way of cloud cover. It's not completely overcast, but we get into more of that filtered sunshine across the area. And with that, temperatures eventually top off right around 60 degrees, which is a few degrees below normal, but not all that bad. So all in all, it's a decent Friday. We do bring some spotty showers into the forecast for the weekend. More on that coming up in just a couple minutes.